Hi, I'm Dr. Julie Glazer. I'm the superintendent of the Nutley Public Schools, and it's my great pleasure to be here today with three of our high school students. This is a follow-up show of the Nutley High School Raider TV News, where we're going to actually ask some questions of the students similar to the questions that you guys asked me in my interview that I think is currently running. So the first question, that'll be the same question for all three of you. The first question is, tell me what you think the strengths of the district are and things that you don't think we should mess with. Things that you don't think change is inevitable, but what would you like to leave alone? All right? And just introduce yourself, if you would, when you get started.
Well, my name is Miranda, and I am a junior, and I think a strength of the district is definitely the music program, and I think that's a really strong program, but it definitely could use more attention.
We'll get to that second. So talk about why is it such a strong, are you involved in the music program? What is it about it that you think is so powerful?
Well, we have pretty dedicated teachers and dedicated students as well, especially the choir program, and I think the band program is pretty successful as well. And I'm in choir, and we do a musical every year and a fall play now. And
have they already announced what they're going to be?
Yes, the fall play is Midsummer in Jersey. He's directing it, I'm stage managing, and the musical is Annie, Get Your Gun.
Oh, that's a fun one.
Yeah.
Good. So tell me, strengths?
Okay, so my name is Anthony, and I believe that the English department here is definitely one of the strongest departments in the district. I feel that not only are the individual teachers at the top of their league, but that what they teach corresponds and really ties in with what is happening both, within the high school and where we are, and then within the general world. And you can relate a lot of what is taught in the classroom with what is done in the, or outside of the classroom, outside of the school district, outside of even Nutley. And I think that there are some really great progressive ideas being thrown out over there, and I think that the teachers are, like I said, more than qualified to be. I know that there are a few teachers, or I know there's at least one teacher who is also a college professor at night, and so there are teachers that are definitely capable of teaching college courses because of just how knowledgeable they are on their subject, and they're also, I feel, truly interested in what they're teaching. They're not a department that pushes, these standardized ways of thinking. Not even standardized testing, but just standardized ways of thinking. And that single-minded thought process that you have to think it this way. Because, me being an artist and a theater artist, I like to look at things from various perspectives, and there's always another interpretation behind something. And so to be able to have that fostered and have an environment where that is really pushed is just tremendous. And like I said, my experience with the English department here has been truly wonderful. I cannot recommend it more highly.
Sounds amazing. Can't wait to hear more.
For me, my experience at Nutley High, I definitely really appreciate the history program. They really I've taken, last year, my junior year, I took AP US and then AP Government, and I loved them. And just every year it's been consistently my favorite class. I love going there. So going off what Anthony said, for me, every history teacher I've had here was fantastic. And then also, I'm involved in soccer and I ran track in the spring. So those two, the way those programs are run, it makes it a lot of fun for the students who get to play and get to be involved in that. So that was definitely a strength for me. And one of my favorite parts about our high school and our town, and how together everybody comes the fall with cheerleading and football and all of that. That's definitely, it's just a lot of fun and a good experience for us, I think. At least.
Thank you. Darby, right?
Yes.
So Darby, tell me, what is it about US and your AP classes? What makes them so stand out for you?
I think for me, it was the teachers. I had my sophomore for government and my sophomore year, I had the same teacher, and I don't know if it was the way he teaches. He just made me so interested in it. throughout, like I started with Mr. Ozati my freshman year, and then sophomore year I had Mr. DiGregorio, then I had Dwyer and DiGregorio, and they just, all of them, they made me want to, like for one the schools I'm looking at, I want to major in communications and then minor in history, and I would have never thought I wanted to minor in history or go do anything in history up until I had those teachers, and so they just really made me like have appreciation for the material and the way it was taught and just the classes themselves. So it just sparked an interest for me.
Okay. And what year in school? You're a senior
I'm a
now?
senior, yeah.
Have you already started applying to schools?
Yeah, I just sent in my first few applications this month, so I'm pretty nervous about them, but I'm excited.
Fingers crossed for you.
Yeah.
So I guess my question would be, it sounds like you've had wonderful teachers and wonderful experiences in history. When you were doing your Common App or the other apps, did you feel really well prepared?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. No, I was doing my Common App, and I think the hardest part was filling in my parents' information, not even like my schedules, everything. I felt definitely really well, especially writing my essays. For my college essay, I felt it was pretty strong. Like my topic, it was about my little sister, but like it was pretty generic-ish. But I felt like my writing was really good, and I think taking those histories and the English department also, like I think they really helped my writing and really helped that while I was doing my process, my applications and everything. So.
Thank you. What year are you?
I'm a senior as well.
You're a senior also, so you're starting to apply also?
Yes, I applied to a single college, and I'm pretty set. I've applied, and I'm hoping that
So you
I
went
get in.
early decision? And
Yes.
Well, I wish you good luck. I have to say, I only applied to one university,
Yeah.
got in, went, loved it. My son, one university,
I feel
got
it's
in, loved it. So more power to you.
If you're not
I have
all
like
in,
10.
what are you?
That's right. There you go. That's a good motto. I think that goes on the T-shirt right under the end. If you're not all in, what are you? What year are you?
Junior.
So you're a junior.
Yeah.
So tell me, that'll lead into my second question. The second question is really, what should we be looking at? Are there areas of concern? Are there things that, in your experience coming up through the Nutley Public Schools, that me as a new leader could be providing support to, those kinds of things? As a junior, what is it that you're trying to cram in the last year?
Yeah, so I've had difficulty with scheduling since freshman year, I think. I feel like I wasn't very prepared or informed of what exactly I need to take in high school, and that kind of put me in a tough position. Like, I still haven't taken financial literacy and computer apps, and and I want to be taking all these electives. Like, I take TV and music, and it gets tight when I want to take all of these classes that I feel are beneficial to me, but I'm held back by these requirements.
Yeah, sadly, those are graduation requirements that I can't control, but I do think that it's a really nice thought to say, okay, here's the 4 years. This is what I'm interested in. How can we slot that together?
Yeah.
Interesting. Have you guys, any of you, been involved with the talking about block scheduling, the change of the schedule?
I've heard about it.
But not in...
I've also heard about it. To just quickly piggyback before I answer the question
Yeah.
myself, I was speaking to a teacher earlier today who was saying that she teaches a financial literacy course, and she was saying how there are other courses that can be done in replacement of that,
Yes.
the state accepts, that she would love to teach, but she wants to get the green light on those. So just to throw something into that. But no, I'll get to my answer when we
No,
get
but
to
that's
it.
exciting. I mean, those
Yeah,
are
it's
exciting
fantastic. I
things.
think that it'd be great if we could incorporate that into the scheduling here.
Yeah. Have you heard anything about block scheduling or been involved in those conversations?
No, I haven't been involved in anything. I've just heard about it from teachers talking about it, but we haven't been asked about it or anything.
Haven't been asked.
No.
Okay. Well, so go ahead.
Okay.
What should we be looking at?
Well, I think that, when we go to, I can talk school-wise and then district-wise, but
Sure.
School-wise, my number one priority here is our drama department, which that's a term I say with hope. So I am directing the fall play here, Midsummer Jersey. It's Ken Ludwig's play. It's a brilliant piece. I highly recommend you come and see it.
I'll be there.
November 18th, 19th, and 20th.
Right
And
here at Nutley High School.
yes. So the main thing I'd like to bring up is funding, which, I'm sure you've heard extensively. I know, though, that funding for our play, funding for the musical as well, funding for really anything with that department, that drama department, that I hope really gets a push with what Mr. Riley, the department head, is hoping to add to the course schedule. And he has a lot of really great ideas that I'm excited to, maybe come back one day and take a look at. But I know funding is the main thing, and I realize that, with every district there are issues with funds. My main concern is I'd like to make sure that there is a fair allocation of those funds. So we have the sports department here that gets a whopping dealing of funds. I mean, like a massive hand of those funds, and it's a great department, and believe me, I have no malice towards them, but I just feel that, our department, where we're doing some really incredible things, is a bit lacking, and I feel that if we equally balanced between not only those two, but any departments that need some more funds to access. We're lucky enough that we have a foundation that's giving us a lot of money, and that Nutley Education Foundation is really generously giving us a lot of money, and we appreciate it. But like I said, we'd like to access those funds just for reasons that we could get a lot more done. We have so many great ideas, and while we're doing them with a budget in mind, whereas if we had a bigger budget, we could do some bigger and better things. I know there's also just the facilities and equipment in here specifically. If we had a bigger and better facility here with this, with the TV radio department, and what with Mr. Kelly does, I think that'd be incredible, because we have such great technology, and the work that we're doing here is incredible, and yet we have like a hindrance with the space, the size of the space, and then what we can get done because of, we need to have desks and the classroom setting and also the equipment setting. And as you can see, it's jumbled, but we make it work, I think, really well. Yet I'd like it if we had a bigger space. Not to keep going, but I think that Mr. Riley, the department head, is pushing for cosmetic upgrades with the auditorium. It's a beautiful auditorium, one of the nicest I've seen in a public school, and yet I feel like he has some really great, inexpensive changes. I know there's the cosmetic upgrades, there's the instruments are really aged, they'd like to update their pianos. I know there's a lot of stuff with that music department, and I'm not as involved in the music department, but I am really involved with that drama department, and we work hand in hand because it's theater collectively. And so, and also our lighting's really great, but we could add some improvements to that. And then just quickly, district-wide, district-wide, I feel that the students in the younger levels aren't learning some of the basic skills that we use. Okay, so like telling time on an analog clock is something that I've dealt with. I mean, I've seen people have difficulty telling time from an actual clock with minute and second hands, and hour hands, and I feel that also you have people coming in that don't really know how to function in the real world with simple things. I mean, I'm in a class where I'm in that financial class this year because I was doing other things earlier years, and so there are people who can't write out the amount of money on a check. Things like that, really simple, like writing money and telling time and these like really essential life tools. That and just coming in with open minds is, I think, the biggest thing, and that the younger educators really need to push this idea of open-mindedness and not push to the closed-mindedness that people might experience at home or, dealing with other people around them in this town. So that's just a few ideas.
That's great ideas. Thank you so very much.
Thank you for listening.
Go ahead.
He said most for the drama department. I don't have as many suggestions, but for me personally, just we don't talk to you every day, we don't see you every day, but we see our teachers every day. So like hiring teachers that are impactful on our lives, and that like getting to know like who you're hiring, and like the students that are influencing the students the most. I think that's just really important. That was my suggestion.
No, I just want to quickly add that I forgot to mention that the air conditioning system here is something that a lot of people have spoken to me about. We have classrooms where, and I'm sure that you know this already, but we have classrooms where teachers are on the verge of passing out, and I believe one did pass out earlier this year because of how hot it is. And I feel that when you have teachers on their feet for these 8 to 3 every single day, and teachers that are, you know, really teaching physically, moving around up and down, trying to demonstrate things, really working to their potential, that they have a hindrance with this heat where they're coming in and like the sweat is dripping down their faces, and yet in the administrative wing, that new wing, people are wearing sweaters because it's so cold.
And I will say, when I first started, it was boiling.
Yeah.
And we spent a lot of time coming up in every building, not
Yeah.
just the high school,
Yeah.
but in every building coming up with a schedule so students could be rotated into the air-conditioned spaces and teachers could be rotated in. I know Mr. Materia and Mr. Williams in particular spent a lot of time trying to make sure everybody had some cool spaces. Unfortunately, you're right, doesn't always give you your cooling off when you need it.
Yeah, like I said, I just wanted to, because it seems like almost like, I don't want to use the word unfair, but just the fact that we have administrative professionals downstairs that are sitting down at desks, you know, and I'm not saying that their workload is any less.
It's always like that.
They're just chilly and we're sweltering.
I'm wearing a sweater. It's 80 degrees today.
Yeah.
Was there, tell me other things?
Sorry.
That you think
It's
we
okay,
need
you're
to be
okay.
looking at? I'm sure there are.
That's just the teachers for me, because they just had a really big impact on like what I wanted to do in the future. Like especially Mr. Kelly here, and like personally the broadcasting department, I completely agree with him. Like just our facilities, like we do a lot of great things. I've learned a lot, and he sends students off to college with a lot of background knowledge that a lot of students aren't given the opportunity at other high schools. And so just like helping here for this class, and then like just the teachers who we see every day and that who influence us the most, I think that's just really important personally for me. But
Actually, that's probably the most important thing for me. The teachers are the heart and soul of the district. And one of the things that was very important to me when I came was to meet all of the new teachers. So every new person that's hired, actually it's probably an inconvenience to them, but it's really nice for me. Every new teacher that's hired does come and meet with me.
Oh, wow.
I came to new teacher orientation because I was new. And had the opportunity also to work with them then. And I think just as a function of building a team, I agree with you. Knowing who your staff is, knowing what people's strengths are, being able to build on those strengths and empower people. You know, you were talking about teachers with great ideas.
Yeah.
And, you know, how do we have people bring those ideas forward? Talked about.
Definitely.
My last question, and I think you might have touched on it a little bit, but I want to make sure that I give you the opportunity to answer just in case you didn't. Is really, as a central office administrator, I try and be in the schools every day. I'm in the classrooms. I think, you know, already a lot of students see me and say, oh, aren't you the superintendent? And I love that. That's important to me. I never want to be anywhere where nobody knows who I am. What's you know, what good is that? But I
If
do
you're not all
have,
in, what are you?
all in. I'm telling you, I think I need a T-shirt. What if we're not all in? But one of the things that I do have the benefit of is that central office behind me.
Yeah.
Right? I'm able to provide leadership and I'm able to provide support in specific areas. So if there are ways that I can be supportive, and I would say in this case, this entry interview, the student population, I would love to know what that is. So if you have ideas, I'd love to hear them.
Yeah, I think just your presence is like
I'll be
the
at Cabaret
greatest thing.
Friday night. I've been at all the band things. I'm wearing my Land by Sea t-shirt.
come support NHS soccer tonight at 7.
So my son, you should know, I have a son that's in the choir. I have
Oh,
a
awesome.
son that's a soccer goalie.
Fantastic.
I have a son that's in theater. I have a marching band child. So they're definitely, again, you know, we talk about where your passions are.
Yeah.
I want the same things for you that I want for my own children. Luckily, they're in college, so I don't have to worry about being at Cabaret Friday night and the football game on Saturday. So it's fun for me.
Yeah, what she said, your presence is there. Like when, like we always, like the players notice when Pyro's there and when Mr. Williams is there. Like it's cool for us to have like this
You wouldn't have
administration
known.
there.
I actually came
I didn't
to
know
that
who you were
first
before
Thursday
that.
game against Cranford.
Ah, yeah.
So I was there for that one. Yeah, it was but it's fun.
Yeah.
You know, it's fun for me to come out and cheer too.
I think that, well, one, doing exactly this, and being a part of our conversations, joining the conversation, starting the conversation, which is essentially what this is a big conversation starter between, the people who actually are here and learning every day and not, sitting in an office as an administrator, and no disrespect to them, but like I said, I think you have a clearer insight as to what happens in the actual classroom when you're talking to people like the teachers and like the students, and I think that is the most incredible thing. Doing things like coming to our shows, and we'd love to have you as a guest maybe on a future show, quite possibly a holiday show or something. But
as long as I don't have to sing, believe me,
Oh.
that you don't want. Trust me.
we could do that.
Okay, that's good. I'll do the beatbox.
Yeah, and I think that and keeping the teachers, letting them teach, because I feel like a huge movement lately with generalized education in general, is having everybody become standardized. And that is the worst thing, in my opinion, to have ever happened to education. And you have teachers who wanted to do this more than anything and now cannot. But yeah.
I will hope to be able to instill innovation, creativity, empower that in the students and the staff. I don't think that standardized testing means standardized education, but if we're going down that road,
all in.
If you're not all in, you're nothing.
What are you?
So we're very fortunate. Thank you,
Thank
all
you.
of you,
Thank
for coming
you.
to do this. And we're fortunate that we have a number of other students that are willing to have these conversations with me. So I thank you very much, and we're going to bring in another group to be able to answer our questions. So thank you very much. What's the best thing that's fun? What is it that we're most proud of?
That's a tough one.
Well, what are you involved with?
I'm in 6 clubs, Patriot Club, Student Council, Key Club, Athletic Training, like 2 more. I used to play soccer. I stopped this year because I got a job. But I've been involved in a lot, and I have to say that we have a lot of, I'd say like pride in like how we do things, how we run things. Like we have a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun here. Like there's a lot of things to do. There's a lot of opportunities for, clubs and different activities, and it's really nice.
Great, thank you.
My name is Elena. I'm a junior here in LA High, and I really like how the teachers like interact with us and like teach and like kind of have a passion for it. So like the history department, since 7th grade, I've had a history teacher that is so passionate about the subject and really makes me enjoy the subject, and most of my history teachers have made me want to become a history teacher just like them. So I believe that we have like a very strong department there.
That's great. And do you think
yeah.
you're going to be a history teacher?
Yeah, I'd like to become a history teacher.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
My name is Jessica. I'm in grade 12. I also agree with Elena completely. The English department is by far my favorite. I have like deep connections with each teacher I have. Like we talk about everything. They're very maternal. I feel like I could go to them with all my problems. I love the subject. I definitely am majoring in it. So I'm really excited about that. Also the sports. I love it. I've been a part of volleyball for 4 years, and even with soccer and cheerleading, I just love the community and the sense of togetherness that comes with it. Like I love supporting, I love going out, I love when people come to my games. It's truly amazing.
That sounds great. How about strengths? You've talked about the teachers, you've talked about some of the school. How about the town of Nutley?
I'd say that in general, we create that like sense of community, and like everybody gets along with each other and everybody loves each other. And as we were saying in our interview the other day, all roads lead to Nutley. Everybody knows everybody, and I think that's really important so that we can all work together and all like function as a whole. Like if you didn't have all these little parts like interconnecting with each other, it wouldn't work.
Okay. Anybody add?
I like in the community how we're very involved with the children. Like I feel like there's always something that I see. It's like, like at the firehouse they have Fire Prevention Day, or it's like you can go in the ambulances and look inside, or like the trunk or treat that they have every year. Just like things like, and even the mayor, whoever the mayor is, they're just very involved in our community, and they're always willing to help everyone and just spread awareness of things that need to be helped with.
And I think it's also great that we're a small community. We aren't that large, like as opposed to Clifton and places that are larger and they like are all spread over. We have a small place that we all can get together. We all know each other. A lot of people, like parents, they go to the high school, they all went here, they grow up, they go to college, and then they come back. And I think that really strengthens our community as a whole.
I agree.
That's nice. I like to hear that. So second question, what is it that we should be looking at? What is it that might be a concern or something that during your time in the schools you've said, boy, I wish somebody would just take a look and deal with that?
I can't go first on this one.
I'll go first. I feel like last year with the transition in like the middle of the year with our new vice principal that we had, so like Mr. Ganella left and Mr. Vore came, I feel like all the policy changed. It was very like, it became more of like relaxed, and then it like switched in the middle of the year to very like hardcore, like very strict. But then coming back into the new school year, it was kind of all evened out, and like everyone just kind of knew where they stood. But like I just feel like when I came back from Christmas break, it was like a whole new school. But I think now it's fixed. It's better. So it's like evened.
And do you think that the structures and policies have added to the school climate and culture?
Yeah, I think so.
So it's just hard to get used to the change.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Also, something with change we're actually doing is the block scheduling. I think even though we won't, well, us at least, won't be a part of it, I think that it's a great thing because it's more like a university, college-like thing. There's longer like periods. There's more time for the students to like, they won't see the teacher every single day, and I think that's great. Like right now I'm in humanities, and that's where there's 3 teachers, and I see them not every day. I see them maybe twice a week, or it's just different, and I like it a lot because you're learning different things. It's not the same thing every single day, and I really like that.
And you think more time in the classes will make a difference?
Yeah, I think definitely. I mean, it might be like longer, it might be more difficult for teachers, for lesson plans and everything, and I'm not trying to put a strain on them, but I think it would be better overall.
Good.
With the block scheduling thing, we were actually talking about this yesterday, that the only issue that like we could see besides the whole strain on teachers with block scheduling is the fact that, you know, the people who don't get their homework done, or like they miss those days and everything like that might just create like a little more of a struggle for them. So, because like if you have an extra day to do it, that goes behind your mind. Like, you know, it goes in the back of your mind and you're like, oh wait, like I have to do this and it's not due tomorrow. Like, so everybody kind of sees it's not due tomorrow as like a way to procrastinate. So like that's the only issue that I can see like upcoming with the block scheduling. But other than that, I think like it'll be fine for.
I was gonna say, I think of it too like a university focus, right? You take some ownership of your own learning. You take some responsibility for learning how not to procrastinate, because you're right, all of us would. Like if you told me I didn't have to do it till next week.
Exactly. It's like, oh, your paper's due in 2 weeks. Okay, well then I'll do it like 3 days before. Like, you know, it's kind of like that.
No, I agree, but I think that the benefit of the extra time, as you said, the benefit of having an opportunity to maybe go deeper into a subject, and to, we call it flipping a classroom, like preparing maybe before you come in, are all exciting. But there are issues, there's no question.
Yeah.
Other things we should be looking at, since you didn't want to go first, I figured you had a lot to say.
No, I don't know. I can't think of like a specific pinpoint of what I think we need to improve upon. I mean, there definitely are issues. Like, I feel like there's some type of, I mean, I don't really think that you can really change this, but there's some type of politics involved with like a school district. But I mean, this happens in every town. There's things, it's like people know people, and that's sometimes how they maybe get away with things. And I mean, that has become like a little bit of an issue. And I'd say that that's like probably my biggest complaint, like about what's been going on with Nutley. But I mean, that happens in every school district. There's certain things that you can do to change it, but there's certain things that you can't like fix about that. You know, like that happens everywhere. That happens in life. I mean, like there's just not really a flat out solution. There's no.
Well, it sounds like it's your double-edged sword, right?
Yeah.
The stuff we like about Nutley is the interconnectedness,
Exactly.
and everybody knows everybody, and that's how we get things done. But sometimes there's another side of that, right?
It's how things get ignored, or how people get away with things that they shouldn't be. Exactly.
Well, and I do think that also goes back to what you were saying. You know,
about
different
the policy,
policies, more procedures, tough to get used to at the beginning, big change, right?
Yeah.
To go, hey, it's not who you know, it's how you do it.
Yes.
But those are things that do make a difference. Good, thanks. So the last question, the third question, is actually where I might be able to change things, I hope. So as the district leader, I do have an opportunity to provide support, whether it's for the teachers or the students, the community. I have an opportunity through my leadership to be able to get involved in places that I might not otherwise get to. So what are some of the things that you think need my attention, need my leadership and support?
I can't think of any exact specific places where I'd say that you should intervene, but I think that what you're doing with hearing us out and hearing what we think needs to be changed or needs to be looked at is great. I've never seen a superintendent. I mean, I've never even personally met the superintendent before. So, I mean, granted, I did.
Okay, people.
Granted, I did. Granted, I did meet you through the interview for a class, but I mean, the fact that you would be willing to sit here and listen to us and actually care and want to be involved, I say that's a first step in a very correct direction.
Thanks.
Yeah, I just kind of agree with Victoria and how I think it's good that you're kind of listening to us more than saying this is what's happening, and kind of getting an opinion from everyone and see what's going to work the best through the community.
Yeah, exactly. Because you can hear things from teachers and you can hear things from principals, but it's really a student-based school if it comes down to it, and we're the ones who are here and we're the ones learning, and I think that it's very important for us to be a part of it.
Well, no, look, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the students,
Exactly.
right? So your voice is really important, and I think something you just said is critical. There are a lot of voices out there, right? There are a lot of people that are talking about the schools. There are a lot of people that hear things, maybe not always the right things. So I think my hope for outcome is to have one voice, right? One voice coming with the correct information, one voice that's telling it the way it is. So then if there is a question, if you do hear something or a community member hears something, you can say, hey, you know what, I better check that out. I better find out if that's true. That doesn't sound exactly like, the process or procedure or program that we put in place. So I think that's a really helpful insight, because I think that'll help me support the rest of the district. Anything else that you want to add? And a question I didn't ask? Like I said, I only have 3 questions.
I can't personally think of anything.
Yeah.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I know it takes a lot to put yourself out and talk to the superintendent.
Yes.
Not otherwise know.
First superintendent I've ever met.
Yeah, same.
Okay, did I do okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, so thank you all very much for listening to what our students have to say, and I look forward to additional segments of Knowing Your School.